welcome to the Content Bite, a podcast for freelancers who use their words to make money. I'm Rachel Smith, a freelance journalist, copywriter, and content producer. I'm also the founder of Rachel's List, a jobs board and community for Australian writers and other creatives.
And I'm Lynn Testoni. I'm a journalist and a content writer as well. Rachel and I are your weekly co-hosts, and every week we're bringing you all kinds of tips, tricks, and some fabulous guests to help you make the most of your freelance business. This podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software made just for Australian freelancers and sole traders. It's everything you need to make freelancing easier. Find out more at rounded.com.au.
Also, if you're a gold member of Rachel's List, Rounded is giving you 20% off an annual subscription plan. Upgrade to gold membership for all the details. Hello, Lynn. How are you? And how is Western Australia? I know you're there at the moment, enjoying countless bubba cuddles with one of your two new granddaughters, aren't you?
I am indeed. It's fantastic. Also, I'm having to switch things up a little, given I'm working here as well with the time difference. There's 3 hours between WA and the East Coast. It's a bit of a challenge, but I'm managing. And as you say, the time with my daughter and her baby are worth it.
Are you telling clients that you're there, or are you just pretending that you're in Sydney?
I've told some clients when I've got meetings, but mostly they don't care where I am. Isn't that the good thing about the way we work?
Beauty of freelancing.
Well, yes.
We have had a bit of back and forth trying to get this episode together. So I'm really glad it came together because we have an awesome guest today. We are talking to Melissa Payne from Story Scout Digital, who has a niche that we haven't really touched on, in great depth at all. She's a brand voice and quiz strategist. So I am really looking forward to this conversation.
Oh, me too. I'll just read out a quick bio for Melissa before we get her into the hot seat.
Okay.
So Melissa Payne is a quiz and email strategist who helps women-led businesses and course creators become wildly wanted, earn kudos and clients dinero and devotion.
Love it.
She loves helping businesses who give a damn create values, align voice and quizzes that build one-to-one intimacy. So welcome, Melissa. So great to have you join us.
I am so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, wonderful. So how about we start with you telling us a little bit about yourself, Melissa, and what you do?
Sure. So I am trained in conversion copywriting and brand voice copywriting. And I have found through experimentation that what I really love is creating quiz lead magnets and email strategy. I craft strategic quizzes that help women-led businesses, so service businesses, course creators, grow their email list. And I have a special soft spot for creative entrepreneurs.
Oh, nice.
How fantastic. Well, my knowledge of quizzes is basically the quizzes I used to write for Dolly and Cleo.
I was saying, talking to Melissa off air about that I used to write quizzes for Dolly and Cleo back in the day.
I've written a lot of quizzes in my time, but I think that, Melissa is talking about something completely different. And I have read about quizzes for lead magnets and lead generation recently. So it feels like it's poised to become the big next thing or something. Is that true? And why are quizzes so effective?
Yeah, so quizzes are definitely becoming more and more popular because people are realizing that they go such a long way in building your audience above and beyond what a typical humble lead magnet that's kind of sitting in your downloads folder does. They're really effective because they activate your audience's curiosity about themselves. So because they're so psychologically driven, it's really about helping your audience understand more about themselves, giving them a window into who you are. And since people are always curious and wanting to learn more about themselves and discover, if you frame it right, it can be a really great conversation starting point and help them feel a need. You can match them to a recommendation or something that's going to really make a difference in their lives and help them find the best option for them. So I like to see a quiz as like a miraculous meet cute. Like when you find one that fits you, it's like, oh, this is made just for me. And there's a spark there. It should really feel like meeting your best friend. So building that mutual respect and reflecting that understanding of them, being a little bit playful, a little bit curious, but you can also really go above and beyond that the Dolly magazines of back in the day, where it was a little bit more, you can be more intentional with it and actually use that to build a more profound relationship with them.
So are you sort of using a quiz to funnel people into different lists in your email marketing? Is that the primary purpose? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So it's segmenting at the top of your funnel, and it's basically allowing you to gain intel into your audience so that you can then, you'll have an automated welcome email sequence based on their quiz result, but you also are gathering that information about them based on their answers, and you can use that to inform your marketing. You can use that to basically nurture that relationship with them through email.
I guess recommend products that they might like or whatever. Exactly. Take it right through to sales. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's about connecting them with the right offer for them, or even you don't have to necessarily build it to connect it to an offer, but it can be helpful to do that. If you can also take it a different direction where you can build it so that you are growing your understanding of your audience so that you can actually then tailor what you build to them. So you can do it either way.
So like market research.
Exactly like market research, so that you can then build offers that are optimized for them. Or you can do it the other way, where you're guiding them toward the right offer.
Yeah.
Wow. And have you found in your testing that a quiz works better than just having a sign up here for our fantastic lead magnet type box?
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I think you need to, like with everything in online marketing, it's all about testing. And when I've run tests, it's really about, like through my personal experience, it's really about testing and then honing. And that's why audience research is such a huge, important part, because that gives you the best foundation for what you're going to be presenting to your audience. And then from there, it's about honing. And so quizzes are great because they're an ongoing way to hone that idea as well.
Oh, wow. So how does one even become a brand voice and quiz specialist? You started as an in-house copywriter, didn't you? And how did you transition to your own business?
Yes. So I worked in-house originally, which was like a madhouse with so many brands under one umbrella. It often felt like working in an agency. And then I also worked in 2 agencies after that. I had written in a variety of voices from this work. And so I had a natural sense for how to kind of chameleonize my writing style to match different brands. And then I decided just before the pandemic hit in earnest, like many of us had great timing, I decided to take the leap. And then I did. I spent 6 months diligently planning for my escape from corporate, and then I jumped. It was really scary, but at the same time, I had that self-trust in myself. I had quite a nest egg of savings. I knew what I wanted to build. I wanted to build something special and that I couldn't find in my corporate life. I think that a lot of us feel that way. And so it was really about building something that aligned more with my values.
Yeah, your website is just beautiful, and I love the whole tone of it and everything. We're going to put it in the show notes because I think people should go and check it out. It's just really, it's like a masterclass in amazing websites.
Oh, thank you.
But, yeah, when I looked at your qualifications, it's quite varied. You've done a Master of Business, a Diploma of Digital Marketing, a Bachelor of Business in PR and Creative Writing, and you've also done copy hacker courses. So what do you feel all of them have played a role in that puzzle of helping bring you to this point, or have some been more, helpful than others?
Yeah, it's so funny. I think that they've all played a role, and they've allowed me to hone different skill sets that allow me to actually bring it into the quiz experience. Like my background in PR is actually really helpful for when I'm helping clients build a promotion strategy for their quiz. So yeah, it's a bit of everything. And the creative writing is obviously close to my heart. And then the business helped enrich that. But I mean, gosh, I'm always taking courses. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always learning something. But when I think about the courses that have been the most impactful, I think, do you guys know Kirsty Fenton, the launch copywriter?
We've got her on the podcast next week.
She's amazing. She's amazing. Her brain camp was a game changer for me. She gave me this she helped me because she has that background in counseling. And so now I have this really structured sensitive way of thinking about how to approach the psychological aspects of copy, which I think is like totally indebted to her and her amazing counseling. Like she just pulls all of this into the way she teaches about copywriting.
Yeah.
And I also took Abby Woodcock and Justin Blackman's course on understanding brand voice. That helped up level those skills. And I mean, I recently took a course with Hannah Shamji, who teaches how to run interviews in a way to get to the real heart of the audience's real lived experience. And then, of course, to get my kind of jump start, I was curious about quizzes, and I learned from Shanti Zak, who is kind of the original person who first did quizzes in the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And so through that training, I mean, I've done so much more since then.
You love a course, don't you?
Wow.
Yes.
They're all very interesting though. Well, we've talked about Brain Camp a lot, but I didn't know about who was the one you mentioned, the quiz one, the quiz expert?
Yes, Shanti Zak's Grow with Quizzes course.
Okay.
Wow.
We'll pop all those in the show notes. Hey, Lynn, do you think?
That sounds great.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds really useful.
Yeah.
Really useful. So let's talk about quiz funnels. What are they and who's using them?
Yeah, so it's essentially a super personalized lead magnet or lead generation tool.
A bit like Choose Your Own Adventure sort of idea.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I love to see it. I love to see it as a choose your own adventure, or having that it should feel like having a one-on-one conversation with your audience, and it should feel, the great thing about it is it gives the audience a glimpse into who you are, and it gives you a glimpse into who they are. It's like the perfect window. And so in my experience, the perfect fit for course creators who are building a course and they want to launch it and they want to build an audience of people who are invested and nurtured toward that offer. And service businesses, it can be really helpful because it allows you to segment the different audience members depending on your niche. You can tailor. So say you're a service business and you have a variety of offers, including service things, and you also have, mini courses or a digital product. You can then help fit them to what they best need. And the same way with e-commerce businesses, you can really help them find the right product for them based on a series of questions. But there's quite a range of ways that they can be applied. And it can be about lead generation, and it can also be about client onboarding. Like it can be about personalizing the experience that they're having with you once they're actually onboarded. And it's a really great way to build that extra premium level of service. So they're great for attracting leads, and they're great for keeping them and getting that, helping them feel really nurtured when they're with you.
So do you think that quizzes is something that freelancers should consider for their own website?
Yeah. I think quizzes are a great fit if you really care about nurturing a deeper relationship with your audience. If you want something that's a bit fresher, if you want something that's not so done, if you want to stand out and you want to make sure that your audience feels really seen and valued and like you understand them, which I think a lot of small business owners, we care about that. I think that's when the quiz is best for you, if you really want to match them up to something that's going to really help them solve a particular problem that they're facing.
So if you do like different things like content marketing or journalism or copywriting or something, you would do a quiz that funneled them into those separate things.
Yeah, absolutely. So you could recommend to them like articles that you've written based on what their needs are. You could recommend, it depends what you're selling as your service, but it really comes back to what your offer is. So you would tailor the quiz result or use question tagging so that you can then build the relationship. There are two ways of segmenting. So you can use question tagging or you can use the quiz result to deliver. And either way, that intel is living in your system, you know who they are. And so you can develop that and offer something based on what you identify from your audience that they need.
How fascinating. Well, I imagine the magazine quizzes that Lynn and I wrote many years ago. I imagine you can have a lot of fun creating a quiz funnel. So where do you start? Does it start with like, customer personas and doing customer interviews and that sort of thing? How does it, and how many questions do you need? I mean, I suppose that's as long as a piece of string type question.
Yeah, so yes, quizzes are so much fun to create. I especially love when I get to see my clients really feel that their brand is reflected and who they are is reflected in the quiz. I think quizzes are so much more fun and creative than your standard lead magnet. But yes, you start with research. And so I believe strongly that you can't really create anything without research.
Yeah.
So I start by researching your audience. We pinpoint those important psychological insights. So all of the pain points, the desires, the beliefs that we need to dismantle or reinforce, all of those things that will go into creating a really rich quiz experience. And we use those to drive our decision making for all of the segmentation, the questions and the quiz results themselves. So at the same time, I talk to the client about the quiz strategy. I ask lots of questions to find out, would it be best to fit this quiz to their offers? Would it be best to do it more generally on the audience personas we've identified? I actually developed a very meta quiz, which I share with my clients to help us pinpoint the right quiz strategy for them.
Oh, wow. A quiz for our quizzes.
Yes.
But that would be a good part of that onboarding thing, because then they understand how effective it is and how strategic it can be. Yeah.
Exactly. And it allows us to start that conversation. That gives them more of an inkling about how it works. It helps, I give them like tips and advice on how we can build this together. So it's really about helping them feel confident in the process and building that clarity about what we're building together. I mean, there are so many moving parts of a quiz. So from there, once we have a solid idea of the right quiz concept and strategy, I'll actually brainstorm those concepts, an array of concepts that we can test out. So I then validate that quiz concept with the audience, like with a quick survey. And then at the same time, I'll map out the quiz results. So that's the outcome that we're using all of those psychological insights to build. And then only there, once we have the quiz concept, the quiz out, like the quiz result, then we'll develop the quiz questions. Because you really need to know the destination that you're working toward before you start. And then with the quiz questions, there's a lot of strategy involved with that too. So you mentioned like how many questions should a quiz have? I would recommend between 7 and 11. 10 is probably the most, but sometimes if 11 will fit, you really want to be thinking about making sure that the quiz is staying engaging throughout the entire experience. So there's a lot of strategy to do with which quiz question belongs here. How are you going to help them feel really excited to take the quiz and keep up that momentum so that you're not losing them halfway?
Yeah.
So yeah, and then there's also the aspect of making sure that the quiz matches your brand voice. I actually, because I have that brand voice knowledge, I sketch out your brand voice before to make sure that what I'm creating is in 100% harmony with the rest of your brand.
Wow.
And then from there, we brainstorm the creative ideas that will actually take your quiz results to the next level. So they're not just getting, an insight into like a kind of a fuzzy, unhelpful insight. We want it to be valuable. Yeah. We want it to be really helpful. We don't want it to be kind of fuzzy and just, it's fun, but it shouldn't just be.
It needs to be actionable or practical.
Yes.
Yes, and have
exactly.
an outcome base or something.
Exactly. Practical, actionable, outcome base. And you really need to build that with intention and planning from the start, because we're going to be infusing the quiz with all of these ideas to actually really impress them, to get them on the right steps for the first action that they should take with you. And that involves equipping them with a lot of rich insights into themselves, into what they need as their next steps. Yeah. So it's really, really about building up an experience that makes them feel really seen and ready to go. Like it's really about helping them feel nurtured and seen with you. And then the final part of it is creating the email sequence strategy. So where do they go after they take the quiz? well, they've joined your email list, so we need to make them feel welcome there. And we need to help them feel that's only the start of their journey with you. So that's really about building that relationship and getting that off to the best start.
Wow. So how long does that whole process take you? Like if that's a project that somebody hires you to do, is that weeks of work?
Yes, it is. It's about a 4-week process.
Yeah.
It's pretty in-depth. And it also involves, like I mentioned, like I come up with ideas to help you promote your quiz. I help you develop a strategy for actually getting it out in the world and making those connections with people so that it's really going to be giving you the best start. So you are equipped to just keep growing and growing it.
Fascinating.
Wow. It's so interesting. And I know you're big on transparency and with all these complex mechanisms going into your strategies and stuff, how do you communicate that to the client without that all that sort of smoke and mirrors marketing that goes on? And why is this important when you're attracting the right clients?
Yeah, I think so many of us value earning and keeping our audience's trust. And so when you're a service provider or you have a business, you don't want them to feel like that trust is eroded from the start. So when you're smoke and mirrors and you don't lead with that transparency, that's when you start to have that jaded dissatisfaction on the part of the audience. And then they won't be engaging with you, which is the entire point of having an email list, right?
Yeah.
It's really about building that community and that those one-on-one conversations. I think personally that quizzes that force the user to cough up an email address to see the quiz result are actually doing you a disservice because someone who's forced to give up their email address won't necessarily stick around to stay subscribed to your emails. And even if they do, who wants a sea of anonymous, unengaged ghosts swimming around in the inbox? Like when you can have a smaller community who's actively engaging with you. So I think for me, it's really important that when I'm working with people that we're aligned on that value. And I think that is the right way to build relationships in the long term. When people feel respected, they'll stick around.
I know that you specialize in lead generation in terms of the bigger picture, and I would love to just divert for a minute and ask you, your opinion on what you think freelancers get wrong about lead generation. Is there any mistakes that we make over and over, and let those sort of lovely leads slip through our fingers?
Yeah, I think it's so funny. I've actually done audience research on this for a project.
Oh, wow.
For a client.
Good. We're
Fantastic.
I think there's a general fatigue, I think, and we all come with it with this sense of self-consciousness. We don't want to be the person who's barging into someone's DMs and asking them, banal, mundane questions about who they are, or the weather. We instinctively freeze up and then sense a pitch is just around the corner. We don't want to be creating that experience for the people that we're reaching out to when we're building leads. So it's really best to start off with a more genuine conversation, like actually thoughtfully commenting and appreciating on what they've shared or what they've been building in a way that's honest about how it's resonated with you. I think the more honest and heartfelt we can be, the better. And I found that if you have a quiz, it actually makes it easier to have those conversations because when you're reaching out to people, it's easier to say, once you've built, a little of that genuine rapport, oh, by the way, have you taken my quiz? It's really fun. And it gives you insight into you. This insight, it's easier to have that conversation than it is to dive into a cold pitch and to just be like, oh, here's my program. Here's what I sell. Here's the service that I offer. It's really about giving them insight into who you are. And that's what a quiz can be helpful for in that first step. And then it makes it easier to have those personalized conversations with your leads once they've taken your quiz. But I have lots of thoughts and feelings about lead generation, with making sure that it's about having conversations. I believe we should lead with the human element before we lead with the business element.
I love that. Yeah,
that's interesting.
That's so true.
I mean, from what I'm hearing, that quizzes are a little similar to surveys, but from what I'm hearing from you is that they dive a lot deeper and you get a lot more complex information. But if you write a good quiz, could you write a survey too? Or are they sort of, is it, or maybe what you're telling us is quizzes are so much better and so much richer.
It's so interesting because I do a lot of both. A lot of my work involves deep audience research. So I actually do market research for businesses and voice of customer research projects for other copywriters as well. So I can speak about this all day, but they serve different purposes. So a quiz, I'll start with a survey actually. A survey is about you. It's about going to an audience who already trusts you, like the people living on your email list, and asking them questions to better understand your market. Surveys, great for that deep dive into exploratory research. It's great for insights, but it doesn't deepen that relationship. It's really about just building up your understanding of the audience. And a quiz is all about the audience. So it's about reflecting back the insights you've gained from your survey or other audience research you've done, like interviews. And then you use that to build your brand. It's more intimate. It's about understanding and that sense of personalization. You're building the insights that you've gained from your survey into the quiz so that they feel fully seen. And there's also an aspect of like, for a survey, gaining good results from that survey, you either need to have a list that really, really trusts you and is invested in your success and wants to help you by sharing those insights, or you need an incentive to try to get them to share their thoughts and experiences with you. So surveys require trust on the part of your audience, but a quiz is about building and deepening that trust. So they have kind of different goals and purposes. They're used to strengthen your relationship with your audience at different stages of the process. And so if a quiz is an ongoing feedback loop that gives you data insights, you can see, for example, how many people have like choose option A. Then a survey is different. It's a snapshot of the data at a singular point of time. Yeah.
So amazing. So interesting.
Wow, I never thought about it from that perspective, but it's so true. When we do like the pay rate surveys for Rachel's List, it is about bringing all that intel together about what people are getting paid and what the average pay rates are out there. But yeah, it doesn't go further than that. It's just basically begging people and hoping for goodwill and getting them to answer it.
Yeah. And so a quiz is more about, you've got to build your quiz so that it speaks to the curiosity that they have about themselves. So it's kind of more enticing than a survey.
Yeah, I went and checked out, I saw a gig up on a Facebook group yesterday, and I went and checked out the company, and they were a vitamin company. And they had a quiz, and I thought, this is interesting. So we're talking to Melissa tomorrow, so I'm just going to check it out. I didn't actually do the quiz, but I just looked at it, and then I did a little bit of digging on what they do, and they actually funnel you. They ask you all these questions about your health, and then they funnel you into a monthly delivery of the right vitamins and stuff like that. So I guess that's an example of how you would, make a customer feel like they had really been heard and that they were getting the right product for them and all of that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
It's essentially like a sales tool that's not invasive and creepy. It allows you to understand what would be the best option for them so that you can actually, you're not strutting into their email, like you're not selling them something that they don't need. It's specifically tailored to exactly what they need.
Yeah, it's so fascinating because it also cuts out all of that necessarily time on the phone with a customer trying to figure out what they need. So it's actually saving you a lot of time. But I imagine it's quite a big investment to set up for the client, would you say?
Yes. So it's quite a significant investment of time and energy to set up because there are all these moving parts.
Yeah.
But once you have it in place, it's just a couple of tweaks that you can keep it going.
Yeah.
So it really, even though it's an initial time and money investment, it's so much easier. You're not, when you think about all of the time and energy investment we spend in generating leads, that takes all of that off your plate. Like you don't have to spend so much time in
Yeah.
the weeds doing all of that. It's
Yeah.
basically all automated and set up for you.
Yeah. How fascinating. So you mentioned that you do lots of different projects. You do the quizzes and then you do the email funnels as one kind of project, but you also do voice of customer research. I mean, what are some projects that you're working on, and do you fit in multiple projects at the same time or work on one at a time? How does your week pan out?
I love diversity. So I've been working on a lot of collaborative quiz crafting experience projects lately. So that's quiz VIP weeks, which are super fun.
Ooh.
So
Yep.
that's where I go in and I help a client DIY their quiz. I give them all the strategy, I guide them through, and we basically workshop a quiz together. And so that's super fun, but I love keeping my week fairly flexible depending on what I have in the mix. It might be running interviews, it might be message mining or creating surveys for a research project, or I'm creating a quiz or email strategy or writing a quiz or emails.
Wow.
Amazing.
How do you price your services? Is it project-based or value-based pitching? I guess what we also want to know is this sort of work, is this something you can charge a premium for? Because you're really niched down beautifully.
Yeah, I love to lead with value-based pricing because part of my personal philosophy is making sure the projects that I deliver offer my clients like a strong return on investment. So it's way beyond the cost than it is initially to hire me. It's really about creating that lifetime value. And I think, I mean, I adore working with women and women-led businesses because I love finding the people who are doing what they're doing out of love. Just because I am as well. And so I really, really care about their businesses. I really, really care about their success. And so I go into it thinking about the value that I can bring to them.
I imagine you're very expensive though, aren't you?
Well, I'm often working with US clients. I'd love to gain more Aussie clients and work with people on a little bit of a different time schedule because I'm often up at weird hours. But it's not too expensive. I think it depends. I have thought about this and how I can bridge the gap. And so I've been thinking about ways that I can, offer a really premium done for you service. And then I have the quiz VIP day, which is more affordable. And then maybe in the future, I'll offer something I care about, like, if you guys think about sliding scale models, I'm building toward offering something that's on a sliding scale model, but I'm not sure what that will look like yet.
How interesting. And why is it that you're mainly working with US clients and not local clients?
It's just naturally worked out that way. I'm in a part of a lot of the copywriter community in the US. I love just making international friends. I love traveling. So it's just worked out that way. I would love to work with more Australian clients. I think it's just been a case of it's wound up this way.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we love to ask our guests about their favorite digital tools. And given you create quizzes, you must use, are you good at coding? Do you use tools that help you, code the quizzes, or are they quiz plugins that you can embed into sites? What are your favorite programs and plugins that help you do your job?
Yeah, so I typically use Interact for my quizzes, but there are a whole range of different quiz tools that you can use, different platforms. I'll let you guys know, and I'll leave a few in the link down below so that your audience can actually wrap their head around all the different possibilities. In my everyday life, I tend to use Interact and Dubsado a lot. And I think actually you can use Typeform to create quizzes as well. That's one that I really like using for my onboarding because I care so much about the client experience. I've invested in like Dubsado to make sure it's super smooth, but it's an absolute monster to master. And I only managed to tame it into submission with the help of the lovely Charlotte Isaac. Yeah, she's maybe one of my favorite humans ever. But I think I'm not super techy. Like, I have enough tech I know how to, set up a quiz and have Zapier and have everything set up to the email system, but I don't code.
No. But you must have to know your way around all the email platforms like, ActiveCampaign, MailChimp,
Yes.
ConvertKit. Do you know all of them really well?
Yeah, I do. I think that it's important to be able to match and connect to what the client is naturally already working with.
Yep.
So sometimes I've had to rig up a kind of an interesting system. Sometimes it folds automatically into the system if it's something that's integrated with the quiz platform. And sometimes we need to figure out a workaround with Sapia. So it can be a little bit of finessing with that.
Amazing.
Wow. So what would your advice be for anyone thinking of a similar niche to you? What sort of skills and background would they need?
I would say that curiosity is the most important thing for research, which is kind of the beginning of everything, and with your audience well equipped with research, but you need an open and inquisitive mind, good people skills when you're running interviews, making that feel like a comfortable and cozy space for them so they can share and feel safe in sharing. You need a strategic brain and an understanding of how you'll use all of those nuanced psychological insights from a copywriting perspective when you're creating the quiz. And because quizzes are so quite complicated, you need to be very organized. So you should feel comfortable with both the strategy and developing creative ideas, but you also need to be meticulous about how you're applying those ideas, because a shiny quiz that you see might look simple on the surface, but I can guarantee that a lot of thinking went into its creation. Quizzes are way more intricate to create than most people realize.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, this has been fascinating, but I know you don't just work on brand strategy and quizzes. So tell us about the other cool stuff that you're working on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but are you working on a Viking cookbook?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. This is my passionate side project. I adore cooking.
We all need one of those.
Yes. I love cooking in my spare time, and often that it means creating feasts that mimic real historical meals, like Roman feasts or Viking feasts or anything that I'm vaguely interested in. I'll go ahead and explore that and dive in deep. I think it's my research loving heart. I love finding out about the meal and how it's been created and who created it and all of the ingredients and the culture that created it, and there's just so many beautiful things. But yes, Viking meals are definitely something that I love creating. I'm creating a historical cookbook that will be a love letter to what I call historical babushkas. So the women who have nourished us throughout the centuries, whose work and contributions to society have maybe sometimes been a little bit overlooked. And so definitely, when I have finished that book, I will include some meals inspired by Viking babushkas.
Wow, that sounds epic. And you should watch, if you haven't watched Vikings yet on Netflix, that would, is a bit of good side research for you. Although I will warn you that when I watched it, I became inspired to redo my entire living room like the grand hall. So I bought all these sheep skins and macrame cushions, and it's actually beautiful. Lynn, do you like my living room?
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love all the textures. It's great. Yeah.
So I did that, but it was very, very expensive project, and I completely blame Vikings for that. But yeah,
I fully endorse this interior design escapade. That's amazing.
Yes.
Oh wow, Melissa,
gosh.
you are so interesting. So many, such a woman of many talents, and I think it's really fascinating. My brain is full of interesting things about quizzes and stuff, and so thank you so much for being our guest this week. And that brings us to the end of the show. But thanks to everyone who's listening and sharing us on social media. We'll try and put as many links as we can to Melissa and all the things she's mentioned, which is so valuable. But if you like the show, don't forget to leave a rating and review on the platform where you find your podcasts.
Yes. And Melissa, before you go, just tell us where people can find you.
Yes. So you can find me at storyscoutdigital.com and on Instagram at storyscoutdigital.com. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm super easy to find because I managed to snag a spot as the very first Melissa Payne on LinkedIn.
Oh, good.
So I don't have any of the weird little digits after my name. If you just type in Melissa-Payne, you'll find me.
Fantastic.
How amazing. Well, we'll put all the details and everything that we've mentioned as part of our chat with Melissa into the show notes. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And also a big thanks to our sponsors at Rounded, easy accounting and invoicing software. made just for Australian freelancers and sole traders. And you can find out more at rounded.com.au.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.